Knowledge is power, and we are here to help you reach your betting potential. Let's talk about betting odds and how to maximize your potential. I'm Tony from Betting Analyst. Let's crack on. There you've got our email if you need it. Just a quick mention on the Mentorship Program. This is for more experienced gamblers who are used to profiting but want a bit more. Check it out on the website, the program. So quickly on to different odds, and we're going to just talk through this really quick because at the end of the day you should know all this if you're into betting. Yes, they tend to use different formats in different countries. The UK fraction, most of the world decimal, and the Americans have their own system of the US odds, minus 500 and so on, right? You see the translation, basically 1 to 5 a fraction, you put 5 on to win 1, whereas in a decimal terms, you put 1 on to win 0.20, so, you know, it's the same. And in the US, they do the minus 500 is what you'd need to bet to win 100, right? That starts to change once you get to odds over even money or odds over 2. So, for example, in the US, you know, the sort of 5 to 4 or 2.25 would be plus 125 and so on. Yeah, it doesn't take much understanding, and most people are used to their own systems, so it's no big deal. Just want to quickly mention that I personally think that decimal odds are a lot more sort of practical to use, and I do encourage our American and UK friends to use exactly the same. And the reason is simple: it's much easier if you convert and you're doing accumulators, you're doing parlays and whatever. You can just times the two together, and you've got exactly the sum that's going to be the payout. So for the odds conversion, and this is really important for you to sort of learn, and this is really the sort of topic. It's about implied probability. So using the decimal odds on the left, I've only put in a short number of odds, yes, but you see the 1.10, it's 90.9%. Now, the thing is with this, right? The calculation is very simple. It's just the 100 divided by the decimal odds. So 100 divided by 1.20 is 83.33%. 100 divided by 1.3, 76.9%, and so on, right? So a typical NFL game, which would be like a 1.91, 1.91 on both sides, or as the Americans will say, minus 110, would be 104.71%. Now, in this instance, I don't want you to think that's the payout, because it's not. That's the overround. The payout would be 95.5%. You would just introvert the odds. With the three-way game that you was used to, like in football, you'd have the 1.90, 3.50, and 4, and that's the percentages in the brackets, and they would equal 106.2%. So the bookmakers overround would be 6.2% more than the 100%, spot on book, so to say, right? Now, the reason it's important to understand the betting odds is because you need to protect yourself from idiots, what you're going to see right now. This is from a company called Bet3000, which is like a German bookmaker. And yes, I mean, if you look on the left-hand side, you've got the 1x2 odds, which is the home, draw, and away. And then on the right-hand side, the extreme right-hand side, you've got the 3 double chance. So the 1x is the home and the draw, the 1-2 is the home and the away, and the x2 is the draw and the away, right? So if we use that, take the Frankfurt game against Borussia Mönchengladbach, the one that we've got in blue. If you actually look at the odds that they're giving for the 1x, right, for the odds of 1.85 and 4 accumulated together, you can see that if you go to the right-hand side, the 54.05%, that's the odds of 1.85, and the 25%, the odds of 4, would equal 79.05%. So really, they should be giving you odds of at least 127, and they're not. They're ripping you off. They're giving you 124. You do this with a 1 and 2, and the 81.08% comes to 1.23 odds, and they're actually giving you 1.21, again pinching off 2 pips. But the most extreme is on the double chance, the x2, because you do that together, right? The x is 25%, and you've got the 27.3% for the away, right? It's 1.92. 52.03% is 1.92. 2.2. And now, if you was going to bet these, what you'd be better off in this instance doing is, splitting your bet, right? So you would take the odds of that 1.92 which were created, and you would divide it by the 4, and that's what you'd have to stake. So 4805 would be the stake, and you would get 192.20 back, right? And 51.95 on the other part of the bet at odds of 307, the away, right, and you'd get 192.2. So that's how you create odds of 1.92 when those thieves are offering you 1.75. This is just an example, and it's really a reason you need to sort of cover yourself. As we move on, I just want to mention you would be very wise to start using odds comparison websites. Now, this is Oddsport. They're not the best in the world, but you have to make do with them. What I've highlighted here is that you can use it just for line shopping, and you can see if you look at the sort of yellow orange, right, they are the best odds possible on that particular game. I've not mentioned the game because it's unimportant. This is an example. You can see all the individual bookmakers have got payouts in their favour, so they're giving like 98% back, 97% back, and so on. Yeah, but by getting the best odds, if you add the counts with these 3 bookmakers, right, with the best odds, and you bet proportionally, you would get that down to 99.14%, which is a payout of 100.9%, so thus giving you like nearly a close to 1% advantage. That's how you get a little bit more out of betting. You make sure that you go line shopping. Obviously, you do that with more betting accounts and so on. Moving on to betting exchanges. This is how you would increase your odds on betting exchanges. The image on the left is no meaning, it's just to show you what a betting exchange looks like. This is the typical Betfair account. It's peer-to-peer betting. The only thing that you've got to worry about is the commission. So if it's 2%, which is for most people in the UK, if you're betting at odds of 202, right, you're paying only commission on the actual win part. So if you was betting 100 on to win 102, then you'd be losing the 2% in commission, you get 100, so that would then be even money, yes? Also, this is the important part. Now, if you look at that fantastic box that we built it down on the right hand side, you will see this is a typical way that you can actually benefit, right? So you've got Team A and Team B, and the odds that are being offered, say on Betfair, are 1.90 and 2.08. But they're also asking you to lay 1.91 and 2.10. So if you wanted to bet Team B in this instance, what you would go and do is you would go and take a bet a 110 on the lay on Team A, right? And it would cost you 100. And it's the same as betting Team B. But instead of, we just mentioned the sum 110, so you're getting 210 instead of 208 back in this instance, right? That's how you create higher odds for yourself. So by using that sort of image, you can learn quickly how to sort of take advantage. You've got to be pretty sharp, but it's all possible. If we move on to Asian handicap betting, this is what a typical chart looks like. I'm not going to go deep into explaining it. I will do on a couple of the examples we're going to talk through in a second. But it's basically dynamic odds. So by only offering 2 different potential bets, right, you can only have 2 possible outcomes. And the great thing about that is that they can move the lines in accordance to the weight of money that's being bet. It's works a bit like the stock exchange or the currency markets. When the dollar's being bought, obviously it will get stronger and the other currency will go down, and so on. Yes, so you can use a platform like Molybet if you are betting Asian handicaps, and basically you're going to get 6-7 different bookmakers feeding odds into one system, and you can bet them with a single click, so you don't have to go and log in individually to bookmakers sites. It's a way of sort of skimming the odds a little bit and making a little bit better for yourself. Yeah, so it's highly competitive, and really this is like ourselves, the professional gamblers, this is what we're sort of used to. If you look at the chart on the left, just very quickly, the plus minus 0 is a draw no bet system, exactly the same as standard for Europeans. You get your stake back if it landed on the draw. The 0.25 minus and the plus 0.025 is self-explanatory there, but basically if it's a draw on the minus 0.25, you would half lose your bet, and if it was a draw on plus 0.25, you'd half win your bet, right? So they all make logic if you really look into them. We've done a blog on the website. We'll also put a link in to that. Now we want to go through a few sort of examples, because this is how you can create better odds for yourself. This is the sort of juice in this video. If you are an experienced gambler, but you're not used to sort of carving out juice for yourself, you're used to platforms, then this is what you need to know. So let's just imagine that you can see Team A and Team B, right, on the draw no bet, right, and they're both being offered at odds of 1.95. It's simplistic, I know, right? We want to bet Team B, for example, right, and we can find by shopping around 2.60, 3.5 and 2.8 on the away team with different diverse bookmakers, right? In this instance, what we would do is we'd take 28.57 and place it on the odds at 3.50. By doing so, we would get our 100 back, our stake, exactly like in draw no bet, and it would leave us 71.43 to bet on the away, right? In this instance, odds of 2.80, which funny enough comes out at exactly 200, which is odds of 2. So we've taken the odds from 1.95 to 2 by just being a little bit sort of wiser. Also with the double chance, so a win is 0.5 and the double chance is at plus 0.5. So the double chance, x2 in this instance. So if Team A was being offered at 195, our favourite odds for today, and Team B with the double chance at 195, just two outcomes, the draw included, right? But we could see best odds on the 1x2 markets with, again, with a number of different bookmakers, so we've got choice. We could see 1.95, 3.50 and 4.6. There's the percentages in brackets, right? And this is what we would do. With Team B, we would take the 3.5, convert it into percentages, it would be 28.57, and the away percentage would be 21.73. It would give us a total of 50.30%. If we convert that back into odds, 100 divided by 50.30, we get 1988. So we have now taken the odds from 1.95 to 1.988, right? What you would also have to do, you'd put your stakes accordingly, right? You'd take the 198.8 divided by the 3.5, and then you'd have what stake you needed to make. It would also be the same for, obviously, for the others, right? You'd take the 198.72 divided by 4.6, and it would be the 43.20, and together the 56.80 and the 43.20 is 100, and so we've just created odds for 1.987 for ourselves. So I just want to pick up on a quarter ball, because a quarter ball, and it takes a little bit more explaining. The minus 0.25 means that we've got to win 50% of our bet back. So from a stake of 100, which we're using as our sort of benchmark here, right, we would actually want to win 50 back if it landed on a draw. So in this instance, what we would do, we would then bet 14.29 on the draw at the odds of 3.50, and we would create ourselves that return of 50. Okay, we would lose 50 if it landed on the draw, but that's the way the bet goes. And other than that, we would take the other remaining 85.71 and then bet it on those odds, the home odds of 2.30, right? And it would create us odds of, it would create us a return of 197.13. So you can see you've actually increased the odds again from odds of 1.95 to 1.971. Now this works for all different types of bets, within the Asian handicap lines, yes. I would also like to mention that a lot of the times when you're on these websites, you get often the same bet at different odds. So you might see a minus 0.5 at Pinnacle being offered at 191, but in the 1x2 market, they're offering exactly the same bet at 192. So you've got to even shop around within the site itself, yeah? So that's important. That's it. Basically, if you like this type of video and you really want to get into the deep learning, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about the mentorship program, and we'll catch you in the next one soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.